If you're someone that clocks out of work and your brain hasn't, this video is for you. I spent years replaying conversations, thinking about unfinished tasks, and overall just bringing that stress with me home. I understood how much I hurt myself, my confidence, the energy, and overall my performance. I want to share with you the shifts and habits that I started to create and also break that cycle of finding finally peace at home and not be in a survival mode day after day. Hopefully these tips will have the same effect as they had for me, starting to equal my confidence and my true performance. I had to be perfect, spot on every time. I had to go overboard and just seem to take on more jobs and so on. But deep down, and once I understood that my brain is surviving and trying to protect me by overthinking and finding the little holes and clues of where is that imperfection, of where is finally that one answer that I'm seeking to shut off the brain and stop feeling in a survival mode. And it was the completely opposite way. It's natural for our brain to do that, but it was burning me out. And underneath every layer and that curtain that I tried to keep close, there was so much more personal work and self-understanding that I had to take. It was about me feeling the worthiness of myself through performance. People are giving me the confidence. So all of that self-love, that confidence that you build up yourself, who you are, that you can critique, or that you're not seeing yourself as a bad person just because you're not performing or you're not worth it. This was a whole other world for me, and I had a lot of work to do. Why I'm saying this to you is work is sometimes as well a mirror to what is going on internally, and because we're spending so much time with other people, it can be easily forgotten what is actually going on. Another big part about is your work culture. Having a work placement for many years where I couldn't leave because I had to finish my education. Nowadays, I know what good management and a good work culture is, but especially if you're stuck in there, I dare you to finally take care of yourself, building that self-esteem, but also trying to set boundaries. I will come to that later. For the middle part of this video, I want to talk about the exact shifts that I did and the habits. If you're new here on Ladies Mental, I'm Nina. I share a simplified lifestyle where we can manage the noise and build more peace and also just calmness overall in our life. Closure. We have our brain filled as a bin full of conversation we're replaying. We have unfinished tasks, and these unfinished tasks are coming to our home or still not clocked out from our workplace. So what I started to do is write things down before I leave work. There are things that I have to do first thing in the morning, things that are unfinished or have priorities. In the beginning, what I started to do is, especially if you're working with people and it feels weird to start this habit, is detach yourself, go to the bathroom, go for a small little walk, or just taking your phone with you in your bathroom is one of the most discreet way if you don't want to use a notepad. Some days it was just helpful to dump everything in a voice message. We are already stressed out and we just need a little bit of a safe space, and for me that was the toilet. Second one is the cloud method. I came across this method through meditation. When you're trying to meditate, you're in silence, but actually your mind becomes even louder. There is random things you're going through. The cloud method teaches that you can let this emotion come, or these ideas or whatever that might be in that moment, but let them pass. Try to see them as neutral as possible, or let them be there, but let them float away. Stripping away all that clutter in your mind to finally have a glass that you can fill at home with the priorities and energy that you need for the next day. Our next point, number 3, is about creating a transition ritual. When we are commuting, we are often stressed, we want to go home as soon as we can. Sometimes we're even putting more jobs onto the commute, getting the groceries and on and on. And this is not part of the transition. It is still work, and once you're at home, you're not even transitioning there either. Our nervous system needs to understand, hey, we have left work behind, now we can enjoy our personal time. That doesn't mean that we have to do not any task. Building that safe space for your brain where you can start to breathe deeper, where you're not clenching your jaw, where you're not shrugging your shoulders. So about the commute, that is walking or driving, build a specific one. For me, that was listening to music, to a specific playlist or a podcast where I knew this is the transition, where I can clock into my transitioning time, so to speak. On very hard days, I was just sitting in silence in my car for 5 minutes, thinking about 5 things that I'm grateful for, 5 things that I did amazing today. May they be as small as making the perfect coffee, having a beautiful food. It mustn't always be work related, but building that gratitude and finally accepting yourself that you're good enough, you're worthy, you did things perfect. This is also for me included in this transitioning rituals. Put yourself a little reminder, or have the playlist already ready, or reading one chapter of your book in the car before you're driving off, because we are tendent to do just everything in an autopilot mode, and this is what we want to get rid of. Your autopilot is not a way of doing things more efficient. Multitasking way as well from your brain, not just physically. Final tip for my transition ritual is when you're coming home, change your clothes. I felt so many times overstimulated from my clothes. I still had the energy of work. I just wanted to strip it off, go into comfortable, cozy clothes, get a shower, put that energy away from work. That's like the cherry on top of all of our stress. So wind down and give yourself clothes that breathe. That flow stage is very important. For my final point, number 4, is creating boundaries. Boundaries is not always the easiest part to do. We are going overboard, or we are just saying yes to responsibilities that we don't want. We take overtime. And that is where I had to learn I'm not covering shifts anymore for people that don't do the favor in their turn or not as often. Second of all, you're performing better with more sleep, clearer mind, but the boundaries will also teach you, hey, I can take care of myself. I can say no. That overtime that we think to have to clean everything spotless or leave everything tidy up doesn't make so much of a difference, in my opinion. And especially if your boss or your manager is not recognizing the effort that you're putting in, which is a hard fact to deal with. For me, it's centering what I can control, what is important. And if someone is pissed off or is not in a good mood, I can only control what is surrounded with me, how I can interact, how I can respond. Yeah, so these are the tips how you can finally clock out with your brain too from work. Share with me, what is the hardest thing you had to deal with today at work? And does it really matter in 10 years? That is sometimes a good reminder that I give myself too. So talk to you soon, take care,